Can you not laugh? I'm trying to do an intro here.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna yell penis this time.
I'm already recording, so whatever. Hi,
Oh.
my name is Drunken Infernape, and welcome to the
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold up, hold up, hold up. I thought your name was Professor Pelipper.
Oh yeah, what's going on, guys? What's good in the office? My patients. My name's Professor Pelipper. Um, I'm just kidding. Hey, welcome back.
Also, professors don't have patience. He has students.
I'm a doctor professor, so get off my grill. All right. Listen, what is going on, guys? My name is Drunken Infernape, and welcome. That was a 45-minute intro, 45-second intro. Welcome to the GPL Season 2 Draft Breakdown. I'm back with GPL. Last time around, I didn't make the playoffs, so I couldn't upload any more videos after my final battle. But this year,
Oh, that's unfortunate.
yeah, this season I'm back in with a new team, completely new. Nothing is the same. Like literally, I drafted completely different mons, and I'm obviously joined by my co-host and my good friend in arms, AI with the Axolotl.
Yeah, here I am.
He's here. Today we're basically just gonna be talking about the mons I drafted. I'm gonna get Ayawi's opinion on them and then my opinion on them. Uh, so
My
here,
opinion means less. So,
don't worry about it. Also, it is currently 1:13 my time. I'm wrapped up in a blanket without pants on, so this is quality content.
nice
But to begin,
quality if I've ever seen it.
so I had it. The way this season worked was it was a little bit different. We actually last season we did only BL through RU or BL through PU and NU. This year we included the OU tier, so I have a lot better mons than I did last season. Um, I also had a new tame rebrand, as you can see on the layout. Uh, all made by Ayawi. Ayawi did make all the
Yeah, I
graphics
made
for
them
this
all like
series, all of
in
it,
an hour.
in an hour. I asked him to do this at like 11. It's now 1:14, so that's crazy. But let's talk about my draft. So for the first mon I drafted was right here, Mega Mawile, also known as Tooth Fairy. So the main way I draft mons is I want to get all my cores down in like you're like all right. You know what? I'm gonna mute you. There, Aowi is muted for now because there's like a staticky sound coming from his mic. But basically the way I draft mons is Aowi, don't do that because I hear myself in an echo. So the way I draft mons, is by kind of doing a core. There's two main cores when you're drafting Pokemon. There's Fire, Water, Grass, and then there's Fairy, Dragon, Steel. By drafting Mega Mawile, I got my Mega as my first pick in the draft, which I did get first pick. In the draft order, I was the first pick, which was fucking crazy. And I picked Mega Mawile because it's bulky, it's attack stat, huge power is an amazing ability, and Steel and Fairy are two very offensive typings. This thing has access to some crazy moves. It gets Crunch, Brick Break, Fire Fang, uh, uh, Ice Fang, Ice Punch, Iron Head, Knockoff, Play Rough. It gets Swords Dance, Return if you want to do that, Rock Slide, Stone Edge, Stealth Rock, Super Fang, Super Punch, Toxic Thunder Punch. It gets all kinds of moves that are just completely and utterly crazy that I'm really happy that I drafted because this mon is just it's incredible and I can't wait to use it. Hey, Abby, what are your opinions on my mon?
Well, I think it was an interesting choice because I didn't really expect it. I didn't really expect anyone to go for Mega Mawile just because I don't feel like it's a mon that you really see much in competitive, though I don't know much about it. But it seems like a good choice just because its typing is very important because it's got like Steel, which is good against Fairy, and then Fairy, which is like the dominant typing in the meta.
Mm-hmm. Fairy is a very Fairy is very good typing, and also the Steel typing eliminates an entire weakness, which is Poison. Poison is like one of the really big weaknesses to Fairy. Poison, and also it resists. Steel is now neutral against it, so Mawile is only weak to Fire and Ground, which are very good. And the next mon I decided to draft was my original plan was to draft Blacephalon as my second mon in line, but I actually ended up drafting Tyranitar, also known as Drax. Tyranitar is one of the strongest Pokemon in OU. Rock and Dark, very good typing. It's very good. It can be a physical attacker or a special attacker because it has a pretty good special attack stat. but you obviously go for attack. Um, its two abilities are Sandstream, and I'm probably gonna be running a Nerve most of the time because my next mon, as you'll see in a minute, has also another weather setup that could work with other mons on my team. So Drax here is really good. This thing is crazy. You can give it any choice item, except you can give it choice band and choice scarf, and it wrecks house. It gets moves like avalanche. It gets brick break, crunch, dragon claw. Uh, it gets earthquake obviously, fire fang, fire punch, uh, ice fang, ice punch, iron head, outrage. So much. Obviously it gets stone edge. There's shadow claw. You can run thunder punch. Superpower if you felt like it. Aerial ace if you wanted to. There's a lot of crazy things this mon can run, and Rock and Dark is also a really good typing because although it is a quad weak to fighting types, uh, this thing is like it has a lot of weaknesses. It does. It's weak to grass, water, fighting, fairy, ground. It's weak to a lot, but this mon when you throw a choice scarf on this mon and you give it max attack, it can destroy souls. Like I've seen it destroy souls. What do you think, Mr. Axolotl?
Yeah, I think T-Tar is like very, very, very strong, but it also has a lot, like you said, like a lot of weaknesses. So I feel like it's gonna be a very interesting like choice to bring in. You're gonna have to really think about your decisions that you make with it because it can easily just get annihilated.
Hmm. It also gets moves like Rock Polish and I believe Swords Dance. No, it doesn't. It gets Rock Polish and also gets Stealth Rocks and Toxic and Taunt. So if I wanted to run a kind of utility-esque Tyranitar, I could, which would be interesting. The next Mon I drafted was actually it did not plan to be this Mon. I actually planned my original three Mons were to be Mega Mawile, Kyurem Black, and Blacephalon, which obviously I didn't get either of those two. So I ended up drafting Alolan Ninetales, and you're probably like Alolan Ninetales is another fairy type, which is not it's not very good to have multiple typings on your team, but I went with it anyways. Ice and Fairy, really good typing. And this thing, it gets the ability Snow Warning, which makes sure that it hails on impact. And Snow Warning and Aurora Veil is, I believe that's 10 turns of Aurora Veil. I believe if you give it Icy Rock, and then, like, if you give it Light Clay, this thing just, it gets 10 turns of Aurora Veil, which is amazing because it halves all damages. All damage is halved immediately, so moves like Iron Head won't be doing as much. But this thing is crazy. It gets Blizzard, Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, Moonblast, Nasty Plot, Psyshock. Gets Toxic, gets freaking Tail Slap. Psy, gets Psyshock, Heal Bell. This thing is a really good mon. It can also be run as utility, and it gets Calm Mind, which is good too. This mon is just it's crazy good, and it gets so much that like there's obviously there's not many sets you want to one. Most sets are gonna be like Icy Rock or Light Clay with Snow Warning, Aurora Veil, Blizzard, or like Aurora Veil, Ice Beam, Moonblast, and maybe Nasty Plot if you want to set up a bit. But I feel like there's a lot of weird things I could do with this mon. Like I could give it Encore if I felt like it. Um, I could make it a substitute Nasty Plot set, which would be pretty cool. It gets Pain Split too. It could be Heal Bell. It could be like these three mons that I first picked. I didn't plan on picking two of them right off the get-go, but as the time went by, I saw that I could. Also, Freeze Dry is good because Freeze Dry is super effective against water types. So mons like, for example, Pelipper and Mega Swampert would take quad effective damage from a Freeze Dry from a Ninetales in the hail. What do you think about that?
It really counts as like ice typing, even though it's like
Hmm.
that's weird. Interesting. Yeah, I think Ninetales is a good pick, but I don't know if it was exactly a good pick for your team because you already had that fairy typing. So it's going to be interesting how often you're really going to use it, but we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, because it's once again, it's there mainly. I might trade it off. I don't know, but we haven't even started the main draft yet. Next up was one of the mons. This is a mon that I wanted since I began the draft, which was Hulk, aka the Tornadus incarnate form. This thing's a beast. Prankster. I'm pretty sure it gets Prankster and Defiant, which is Crazy. Prankster and Defiant are two amazing abilities, and it's the only pure flying type in the game. Uh, it gets Defog, which is one of the main reasons I want it. It also gets Acrobatic, Bulk Up, Crunch. It can be physical or special. It doesn't matter what you want to run. It can be Stally. It can be it can be a Stallmon, a Utility Mon, a physical, a special, a bulky. It can be whatever you want it to be, because it has so many options. Like you can run Defog. You could run like Defog, Protect, uh, Toxic, and Tailwind, and just have it set up for your team for a sweep with a Mega Mawile. Like it's just, or you could run if you wanted to like Hurricane or Air Slash with like other really special moves or physical moves. It's really diverse, and Prankster and Defiant are just two amazing abilities because uh here we go. Dark, yeah. The status is this Pokemon's status moves have priority raised by one, which means that Prankster makes it so that moves like Toxic and Tailwind will always go first, which is beautiful. But it doesn't affect Dark types, which kind of sucks. What do you think?
So yeah, with the like stats of a legendary, you can really do like anything, like any set, just because they're so good.
It's
And
base
I'm noticing
111
sort of a
speed.
theme. Yeah, I'm noticing with your team, you're very focused on like versatility. Like all these mons so far could be like used for like many different roles. So you
Mhm.
really have a lot of like work you can do with your team to make them unique every
Mhm.
single like round.
Mhm. Next up is Taylor Swift, the Como. So here's a funny story. So originally my plan was to draft in this tier was to draft Latios and Arcanine. But Megalodios was stolen from me in the first round, so I couldn't draft Latios. And then I wanted Haxorus, and then Haxorus was stolen. Then I wanted Hydreigon, and then Hydreigon was stolen. So I said, okay, Como was my last choice of a dragon type that wasn't in RU, so I decided to go with it. And now that I look at its stats and its abilities and its move pool, it's way better. Obviously, this thing would be overpowered with its Z move, which is banned, but this thing has four stats in 100: 110 attack, 125 defense, 100 special attack, and 105 special defense. The only real stat it's lacking in is speed, but that can be made up with like a choice scarf or giving it pretty good speed IVs if you felt like it. It gets bulletproof, soundproof, and overcoat, which means that this Pokemon is immune to powder moves and damage like sandstorm and hail. And what does Drax and Elsa have? Sandstorm, hail. And then
Pretty
there's
smart.
Bulletproof, which is Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, Focus Blast, which is really good. And Soundproof is good for like blocking out utility mons. Like I know this is a really bad example, but let's say I send out this thing against a Togekiss. It's going for Heal Bell to try to heal up its mons on its team. I could eliminate that completely with Soundproof, and it's gonna be really hard for my opponents to really like find out which one. If they're paying attention, they'd see that I have Overcoat, but if I don't have Overcoat, then they have to guess between Bulletproof and Soundproof, because moves like Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb and Focus Blast are obviously very strong moves. So them not being able to land those moves could be key. Even though Como doesn't resist Ghost or Poison or Fighting, it still matters because I could completely render a really strong move useless on the opponent. And in Generation 7 in the remakes, Ultra and Moon, this thing got Dragon Dance. And Dragon Dance put in so much work. It gets Drain Punch, it gets Flamethrower, it gets so much Iron Head, Hyper Voice, Ice Punch, Low Kick, Outrage, Poison Jab, Rock Polish, Rock Slide, Shadow Claws. It gets Stealth Rocks as well, which is a good utility. Swords Dance, Thunder Punch. It gets X Scissor, which is really good. Uh, it has Belly Drum. I'm gonna run Belly Drum, Como. Who
Can
needs
do it.
it has and Clanging Scales is amazing, even though it lowers your defense by one each turn, which kind of sucks, but it also gets moves like Atomize for setup, so this thing is just an amazing mon all around. And it can be run physical or special, so it's a plus. What do you think?
I can't really believe this is in UU. Like it's just it's got such good stats like defensively and offensively. It gets such like a good move pool. It's probably gonna hit really hard, but like it's
Hmm.
only like crutch that I can really see is that like fairy types kind of do some
Body
work
it.
on it. But other than that, it kind of it's got a lot of stuff going on
Hmm.
for it.
All right, yeah, that's right. Fairy types body this thing. Like this thing does not. It doesn't live a draining kiss from a Badoo. But next up is OxyClean or Clorox or ShamWow or whatever the heck you want to call it. Any cleaning material. Uh, OxyClean, the Suicune. And this thing originally was not my plan. My original plan was to get Feraligatr and RU because Feraligatr is a mon that I actually know how to use and I have used before. But of course, I did get sniped for Arcanine, so I was like, all right, I'll take Suicune because it'll give me a better water type. Of course, it gets pressure, inner focus, so not the best abilities, but it does have a pretty decent moveset. And also, it gets like it has Scald, which is amazing. It can set, I believe it gets both screens. No, it only has Reflect. It doesn't have Light Screen. Only Reflect. It gets, does it get Ice Beam? It does. It gets Ice
It
Beam.
should.
Yeah, Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, Extra Sensory. You can click Calm Mind. It gets Air Slash. Whoa.
Whoa.
And it gets things like Blizzard, Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam is actually not a bad move at all. And it gets a lot of really good moves. Like it gets Icy Wind. I could run Icy Wind 1 week. It gets. Why does it get Sunny Day?
You never know, dude. You gotta set up that sun, dude.
I could run Sheer Cold or Rain Dance. You never know.
Yo, you can help me.
Bet I'll cancel it out with Sunny Day. But yeah, this it's not as versatile as the other mons I have. This thing it gets Tailwind, it gets Toxic, it has Roar, and it has like Protect, so it could be utility, but it's mainly gonna be there to like sit there. It does tank with a 115 in both defense stats. While its attack stats are like not very good, it can sit there and dish out pretty good damage while still like tanking things like Thunderbolt and Giga Drain, which are pretty useful. So that's nice. Also, its shiny is pretty beautiful. So
Oh yeah, that was like one of the first shinies I ever gotten.
wow, that's crazy. I've never had a shiny
Or-
Suicune.
Yeah.
So moving on, that's the OU and UU rounds done for. And at this point, we move on to RU. And in RU, I end up grabbing my first pick is Galvantula. Galvantula is an amazing Pokemon. 108 speed stat, which I believe at my point in the draft, 108 is my fastest speed stat.
Really?
Uh, no, it's not. It's my second highest speed stat. Third. It's almost tied. It's almost tied with Alolan Ninetales at 109, and then Tornadus is at 111. But the main reason I drafted Galvantula, it is hands down the best sticky web setter in the entire game. It will outspeed you. It will outspeed you. Click sticky webs, and automatically you have the best hazard in the game on the field. It also gets, I believe, yeah, it does get light screen. It gets moves like Signal Beam, and I don't know why people don't run Thunder on this thing a lot more. Compound Eyes raises your accuracy by 1.3. So if you give this thing, wait, let me see. What's a scope lens? Let's see. Scope lens. Oh wait, what's the ability that? What's the item that raises accuracy? All right.
Wide lens.
So wide lens. So 70 times 1.3, and then times 1 1.1. That makes when you give it wide lens, compound eyes, thunder, uh, Galvantula does not miss thunder. It's 100% accurate. And you give this thing, you make it max speed, and it's tanking. It also gets Thunderbolt, it gets Giga Drain and Energy Ball, Discharge, Bug Buzz. Hit him with that Bug Buzz. Um, HP Ice, and it's sticky webs. That's like you want to describe this thing in one word. It's sticky webs because sticky webs are so helpful. It slows down mons, and that's the main purpose. It does have a decent special attack stat, but speed is mainly why I drafted this thing because I want a fast web setter. I was considering Araquanid, but Araquanid is kind of like not very fast. It's super bulky, but I already have some pretty decent bulk on my team. What do you think about my pick for Galvantula?
Yeah, I think that Sticky Webs is pretty good for your teams. You don't have a lot of fast Pokemon.
Hmm.
You have a lot of hard hitters, but not you don't have a lot of speed, which
Yeah.
is very good that you have Galvantula. And I'm kind of scared about Galvantula now because if you get Thunder, then that's gonna be like 100% accurate in my rain. So I'm a little spooked,
Oh yeah, it is.
but
And I get good drain and energy
you don't
ball.
even need wide lens.
I
Yeah,
have
you don't
big.
even need
I
wide
have.
lens with it.
I can run scarf. I can run
That thing's actually kind of scary.
Scarf Galvantula with thunder and Giga Drain. With sticky webs up, dog, you're getting 6 0'd. Next up is Juliet, the Roserade, and I made. When I was drafting this thing, my original pick was Shaman. I got sniped. What a surprise!
And then
Um,
you sniped me with Rose Raid.
I did. I
So
sniped him with Roserade, and Roserade gets natural cure as well as poison point and Technician, which Technician is really good for moves like if I want to run Bullet Seed, which I'm never gonna run. Um, Technician's not the most useful thing, but this is the only T-Spike setter on my entire team. And it also has a pretty decent, it has a 90 speed stat and a 125
Mhm.
special attack stat, which is fucking amazing.
I run Rose Raid with what is the move that makes it go fast, but it can only use one move. That one. Choice Scarf.
There we go. That's not a move, that's an item.
That's what I mean.
It gets things like D Gleam, Energy Ball. I'm pretty sure it gets Leech Seed. It does. It gets Petal Blizzard, Poison Jab if I want to. Obviously I'm gonna run Sludge Bomb. Stun Spore. It also gets Toxic and Synthesis and Substitute and Sleep Powder, and it's once again, it's one of those mons where it hits hard, but at the same time it's fast, so it can like go for utility, which is very very useful. Like Leech Seed can whittle down. Leech Seed is I think I have my team done for our battle week one. It's just this and the Galvantula. That's it, and I win. But
I don't know.
wait, what
Tourniquets
do you
might come
mean?
in.
What do you mean? You have the hard counter, Tapu Koko. How does it? That's yeah. So this thing's really good. It's an amazing. It gets Grass Knot, Giga Drain. It's it was either this or Venusaur, and Venusaur doesn't have thick fat till it Mega Evolves. And I was like, what do I want? Do I want bulk, which I kind of already have, or do I want special attacking, which I kind of don't have much of? Because I've been the top. My main mons have been physical, like Komodo, Mega Mawile, uh, Tornadus, and uh, Tyranitar are mainly physical. So I wanted to snag a better mon. So what do you think about Roserade and my pick?
Well, Rosebade's one of my favorite Pokemon. I obviously wanted it on my team, but it's a really good poison type for like what it is.
Hmm.
So it's pretty good for fairies and just like the different utilities you can run with it. I usually run toxic spikes, but you can just run regular toxic, all that good stuff. Lots
Yeah.
of options with Rose Raid.
Hmm. So at this point in the draft, I kind of see that my main three mons, I like Tyranitar, Mawile. They're my two strongest hitters, and they're really weak to ground, which is why I drafted Juliet so that it would be neutral ground types. But then I got pizza rolls or hot pockets or Tostinos or leftovers, whatever you want to call it. Anything you put in the microwave. Um, it's Rotom. Almost every Rotom form is good because they just get levitate and it's really beautiful. Uh, and this thing it gets Dark Pulse. It's another defog user, which is great. Discharge. It gets Light Screen and Reflect, so it can be a double screen shatter, which would be a beautiful. Volt Switch, Will-O-Wisp, Toxic, Trick, T-Wave, Shadow Ball. This thing is just it's like made it's made to like serve your purpose, and it's made to do like whatever you want because it has such a diverse move pool. Although it really only has one good fire type move in Overheat and Hidden Power Fire, it's not exactly the most useful fire type, but at the same time, Discharge and Thunderbolt, which are really good, just make up for it. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Also,
that
it's
levitate
shiny.
on it is so important because it's 4 times weak to it otherwise, and
You're right.
like it's just really good to just trip someone up if you just like you think they're gonna go for an earthquake, just switch into Rodom and then they're
Hmm.
basically like, walled for a second.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Next up is my favorite name on the team. You got my boy Beyblade, the him on top. So when I was drafting my last three picks, I looked at Hitmontop and Hitmonlee, and I was thinking which one do I want? And I saw that Hitmonlee gets like limber and it has higher attack stats, and then I was like,
rapid spin.
yes, and then I was like, hold up, Hitmontop gets intimidate. So I was like, snag. So I took Hitmontop gets intimidate. This thing also gets rapid spin. which I would like to mention. It does get rapid spin as well as it does not get stealth rocks, but it gets a rock slide, sucker punch, all the basic fighting moves. Fake out, drill run. It gets earthquake, close combat, bullet punch. If I wanted to, I could run agility. It does have the lowest stats of all the Hitmons, but really its only weaknesses are it's weak to psychic and fairy, and psychic and
And
fairy
flying.
and flying, and psychic and fairy are mainly what's it called, a special move directed like psychic and moonblast, and this thing has a over a 110 a special attack special defense stat, so that's really useful for it. Its attack stat and defense stat are the exact same, and its speed stat could be improved, but at the same time, this thing is mainly meant to be a rapid spinner because I have a lot of defoggers on my team. I have like I believe three defoggers on my team right now, so that's useful. What do you think about Beyblade or fidget spinner, whatever you want to call it?
It's a really good, just like you just swap it in, and just intimidate your foe, and then just get rid of all the hazards, and then just get up out of there because
Yeah.
you know you have a bunch of defense, so you're pretty good at just
Hmm.
taking a hit or two while you do what you need to do, and then you get back into the battle.
Yeah. All right. So next up was another mon I didn't plan on grabbing, but we got Cranium, which I have no idea why Yuxi is in PU. Makes no sense. But this thing has
Zero.
it has 130 in both defense stats, which is amazing. Its attack stats are very bad, 75 in both of them. But its move pool, very diverse. Calm Mind, Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball, Extrasensory. You want to run Fire Punch, you can run Fire Punch. Ice Punch, it gets both Light Screen and Protect, Light Screen and Reflect, which means I have two double screen setters. It gets Shadow Ball, Signal Beam. It's another Stealth Rock setter if I want to. Thunderbolt, Thunderwave, Toxic, Trick Room, which Trick Room could be useful for things like Tyranitar and Mega Mawile, which are not very fast at all. So there's that. But yeah, mainly this thing is meant to. This thing is just like I drafted it for the same reason I drafted Suicune. It was a last minute decision, and it's a really bulky legendary, which is it's gonna help me a lot in the long run. Also, I didn't have a psychic type, and I really wanted a psychic type, and I didn't really see anything available at that point. So I was like, you see, it's a legendary. Why not? What do you think?
Yeah, and the stuff in like NU is just like there's a lot of not options. Like you just
Mhm.
you're like I don't want that one, I don't want that one. Just a lot
Yeah,
of like skips where you're going through the
I
list.
didn't
But
have
I
one.
think you picked.
I didn't have one NU. I had all these three mons are PU picks. Like I didn't
Yeah.
pick a single NU mon.
So yeah, I mean, there's a pretty decent picks for what the pool is.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of good choices there.
Yeah. And then the final pick, my 12th pick, it was a toss up between Palo Sand and Dust Noir. I ended up going with Dust Noir mainly because it's just better all around. While Palo Sand gives me the type diversity, this thing gives me like look at all those moves. That's a lot of moves. It gets Memento, Psychic, Pain Split, Nightshade. I can run Ice Beam if I want to. Although its special attack stat is really low, its defense stat and special defense stat are higher than Yuxi's. They're both 135, which means I eat up almost anything. Like literally, this thing swallows attacks. And also, I have a really gigantic fighting weakness in my earlier mons. Like uh, a Tyranitar, one of my hardest hitters, is very weak to fighting. And you want to high jump kick my Tyranitar? Sure. Except you float through the ghost. Ooh wee, and you get
Ooh.
hurt. You die. You're dead. That's it. It does get frisk and pressure. Frisk could help because I can know if a mon's like banded or scarfed, so I'll know if it's gonna outspeed me or not. I'm probably gonna have to like write it down so I can remember, but that'll be nice. It does have a pretty good moveset, although its attack stats are not the best. Uh, it's still the last mon that made up my entire team, and that are the 12 mon. Those are the 12 mons that I drafted. But at the end of all the drafting, we had to pick one Z move, and my Z Crystal ended up being the Firium Z, mainly because you look at my team, Mega Mawile gets Fire Fang and Fire Punch, right?
Um,
No,
Probably. I don't know.
no, only Fire Fang. And then Drax gets Fire Punch and Fire Blast. And then you look at, I believe Elsa gets Heat Wave. No, it doesn't. And then my where is it? Here he is.
Kamo gets flamethrower,
Kamo gets Flamethrower
and then Rotom
as well
Heat.
as Fire Punch. It does get Rotom Heat. It does that too. Um, Hitmontop I believe gets Fire Punch as well. And Yuxi gets. Does Yuxi get Flamethrower? I think it does.
I mean, you go ahead and run a fire punch him on
Yuxi,
top. I
yeah,
will not stop you.
Yuxi gets Fire Punch. So does what's his face? Dusknoir gets Fire Punch. So there's like, and I can run Z Will-O-Wisp. Like four of my mons know Will-O-Wisp. Pizza Roll, I believe Cranium gets Will-O-Wisp too. No, Pizza Roll, Denny Phantom, and I think Tornadus gets Will-O-Wisp. Am I wrong? I'm wrong.
I have no idea.
So yeah, so that was really my draft. I ended up with Mega Mawile, Tyranitar, Alolan Ninetales, Tornadus Incarnate, Como-O, Suicune, Galvantula, Roserade, Rotom Heat, Hitmontop, Uxie, Dusknoir, and the Fire MZ. I feel like my draft was pretty good. If I was to rate it out of 10, I'd probably give it like maybe a like 8 out of 10. I would have preferred to have Arcanine on my team because Arcanine was so good, as well as Latios because Latios was on the Levitate Mon to help me out with my ground weakness that I had with Mawile and T-Tar. But I'm not complaining at all with the draft with the Mons I got because they're all very good. I did end up getting a Levitate Mon in Uxie and also in Rotom Heat, so that gives me three Mons that can handle ground types. But that was my draft. I had a lot of fun. Also, I hope you guys enjoy the rebrand, which everything everything you ever see in my league battle videos and any league videos, all the graphics and art is made by Yaoi. So
Yeah,
go subscribe to him on YouTube. Go follow him on Twitter, cause why not? He doesn't post, but
yeah.
go
I
follow
don't
him.
post anything.
Go
Yeah, but I think with your draft here, I think the name of the game here was like diversity. Like you're just trying to get Pokemon that could just do a lot of different roles. So
yeah.
it's gonna be very interesting to battle you just because you're gonna have so many different options for each Pokemon.
You're
So
gonna have to
I'll never really
predict a lot. You're gonna have
yeah,
to be like,
and
what's he gonna run?
you have a decent amount of bulk too, just because you have like a few legends and there's a
Mhm.
few Pokemon. So that's gonna be very difficult to try to knock out.
Mhm. So I hope you guys did enjoy this episode or this video talking about the draft breakdown of the GPL Season 2. Hope you all do enjoy or have enjoyed this video. I have no idea at what point the actual season is going to begin because we're currently waiting on our 12th member since a member dropped out mid-draft, which is disappointing, but whatever. We're waiting. So if you guys want to apply, comment section down below. And it's like a job. It's a job. Go to the comment section
Yeah,
down below if you really like Pokemon and you want to join
yeah.
our league.
Tell us why you want to join. Like
Yes, we need
what
a
why
full
should we add you?
we need a resume.
What's your greatest strength?
What are your strengths and your weaknesses? What's your favorite Pokemon? Is it Pelipper? Good, you're in. All right.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. We need some recommendations from previous employers.
correct, we do. Did you work for A Drive in the past? That would help you a lot. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that punch bullshit down below. Go subscribe to Yaoi because he is the man, the myth, the legend, the pink boy. Also, Shovel Knight, get some F's in the chat because he didn't make it in Smash. See you guys next time. Peace.
Bye bye.
I'm gonna beat a Yaoi week 1.